Your kids think you're a superhero. You know that, right? The way they look at you when you fix something that's broken, when you kiss a scraped knee and somehow make it better, when you show up exhausted and still make dinner happen, to them, you're invincible. But do you know you actually have superpowers? Real ones. Not the kind you see in movies, the kind that let you compete and win. Because I'm a mom, and I just beat some of the best PhD students in the country in a national competition, not despite being a mom, because I'm a mom. And today I'm going to show you the 3 superpowers you already have, the ones you've been using every single day without even realizing it. Because being a mom isn't holding you back. It's your secret weapon. Let's be honest, we have been told our entire lives that being a mom is a disadvantage, that kids slow you down, that mothers can't compete, that you have to choose ambition or family. In my first video on this channel, I talked about how hard it is to do a PhD with kids. And it is hard. I won't pretend otherwise. But today, I want to flip the script completely. Because here's what nobody talks about. Being a mother has given you skills that most people spend years trying to develop, and you already have them. You just don't realize it yet. Here's something most people don't understand about productivity. The people who get the most done aren't the ones with the most time. They're the ones with the least time. Think about it. If you have all day to do something, you take all day. If you have 2 hours before school pickup, you get it done in 2 hours. That's not a weakness, that's a superpower. There's actually a principle called Parkinson's law. It says work expands to fill the time available. So if you have 10 free hours, your work stretches across all 10. But if you have 2 hours, you focus, you cut the noise, you get it done. PhD students without kids may spend their day scrolling, procrastinating, or reading the same paragraph 4 times. Not because they're lazy, because they have unlimited time. You don't have that luxury, and that is actually your advantage. You have become an expert at doing meaningful, focused work in small windows of time, and that skill separates good researchers from great ones. Let me ask you something. When was the last time something in your professional life made you genuinely cry? A harsh email from a supervisor? A rejected paper? A failed experiment? Now think about what you dealt with last week as a mom. A screaming tantrum at the supermarket. A child who didn't sleep for 3 nights straight. A sick baby at 2 a.m. while you had a presentation at 9 a.m. You survived all of it. And then you got up the next morning and kept going. That's resilience. And resilience is the #1 predictor of success in a PhD. Not intelligence, not talent, not even passion. Resilience, the ability to get knocked down and keep going. I had to travel for conferences, national ones, interstate ones, international ones. And every single time, I had to arrange a nanny, or my partner had to come with me just so I could be there. It wasn't seamless. It wasn't easy. There were nights I felt guilty for leaving, mornings I almost canceled, but I went anyway. Because showing up when it's hard is exactly what resilience looks like. And moms practice this every single day without even realizing it. You are not fragile. You have been forged in the chaos of motherhood. And nothing in academia is harder than what you already survive at home. Here's something I learned early on that changed everything for me. As a PhD mom, it's so easy to disappear, to skip the seminars, skip the events, stay home because it's easier and less complicated. And honestly, nobody would blame you. But I made a decision early in my PhD. I was not going to let being a mom disconnect me from the academic world. So I showed up. Every seminar I could get to, I went. Every competition, every challenge I entered, not just because it was good for my PhD, but because every time I walked into that room as a mom and held my own, I was telling myself, Being a mom does not mean I don't belong here. It started small. I entered a 3-minute thesis competition locally, and I won the People's Choice Award. And I thought, okay, what happens if I keep going? So I kept entering, I kept showing up, and eventually I got selected for a competitive national PhD program. Not everyone gets in. You have to apply, you have to be chosen. Just getting selected was already a win. But while I was there, I competed in their 3-minute thesis competition against some of the best PhD students in the country. And I won. I'm not telling you this to show off. I'm telling you this because when I started, I genuinely didn't know if I could do it. Every time I showed up, it was a test of whether being a mom would hold me back. And every single time the answer was no. Showing up consistently, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's hard to arrange childcare, even when you're tired and unsure, that is one of the most powerful things a PhD mom can do. Not just for her career, for her own belief in herself. This one is important. Really listen. Before I became a mom, my PhD was about ME, my career, my degree, my future. Now, my PhD is about something bigger. Every time I want to quit, I think, I'm doing this for my child. I'm doing this to contribute something real to the world. That is a motivation that does not run out. Moms think in the long game. You don't just think about today. You think about 10 years from now, 20 years. You think about what kind of world your child is growing up in. And that perspective makes your work matter more, not less. One PhD mom I came across said, "Before kids, I would have dropped out during a tough moment. After kids, quitting isn't even an option. Not because I'm stronger, because the stakes are higher." That line has stayed with me because it's true. Once you become a mom, giving up stops being an option. And that is a quiet, powerful kind of strength. The power of being seen. Now, I want to talk about something that doesn't get mentioned enough. Acknowledgement. When people around you recognize what you're doing, it doesn't just feel nice. It does something deeper. When my supervisors acknowledged my work, when colleagues said, "Wow, you're doing this with a baby," when friends told me they were proud of me, that wasn't just encouragement. It was reassurance. It was someone outside my own head saying, "You are doing great. This is working. You are enough." And that matters more than people realize. Because as a PhD mom, there are so many moments where you doubt yourself, where the guilt creeps in, where you wonder if you're falling behind or not doing enough. In those moments, the people who see you, who actually look at what you're achieving and say, "That's incredible," they become anchors. They keep you going when your own voice gets too loud with doubt. So if you have a mom in your life who is doing something hard, who is pushing herself, who is showing up even when everything is working against her, tell her you see her. Tell her she's doing amazing because it might be the thing that keeps her going. And I'm not the only one. Liz Upton, PhD in statistics from Boston University, had her baby right in the middle of her doctorate. While raising her baby daughter, she won the New England Statistics Symposium Best Paper Award. The following year, she won the Outstanding Teaching Fellow Award, and she managed a statistical consulting service, all while raising a newborn. Then there's the woman from El Paso. She started her doctoral degree when her third baby was 2 months old, got pregnant again during the program, then pregnant a third time. She is now in her 4th year of her doctoral program with 5 children. 5. People kept telling her it was impossible. She kept going anyway. And the PhD mom from Trinity College Dublin who starts her day at 5 a.m. Not because someone told her to, but because those quiet hours before the kids wake up became her most productive writing time. She said motherhood forced her to become creative about when and how she works. And that creativity made her a better researcher. These aren't exceptions. These are examples of what happens when you stop believing the lie that being a mom holds you back. And here's what I really want you to hear. This isn't just about PhDs. Every single skill I talked about today applies to any goal you have. Starting a business? Moms are some of the most successful entrepreneurs on the planet because they already know how to do 10 things at once under impossible pressure. Writing a book? Moms figure out how to write in 15-minute blocks while the house is chaos. And those 15 minutes add up to finished books. Learning something new? Moms are already learning on the job every single day. They adapt faster than anyone. A survey found that 95% of mothers said raising children gave them transferable skills they didn't have before. The top skills? Motivating others, learning fast, confidence under pressure. Motherhood is not a barrier to greatness. It is training for it. So here's what I want you to take away from this video. The world will tell you that having kids makes you less capable, that you should wait, that you should put your dreams on hold, that you should be grateful you get to do anything at all while raising children. That's wrong. You have been handed a set of skills that most people would pay thousands to develop. Resilience, focus, prioritization, perspective, adaptability, grit. You didn't pay for these skills. Life handed them to you the moment you became a mom. The question isn't whether you can do a PhD with kids, or start a business with kids, or achieve anything ambitious with kids. The question is, are you going to let the world's low expectations become your low expectations, or are you going to prove them wrong? Because every single mom who has ever pushed through, every mom who finished her degree, started her business, wrote her book, built something incredible, she didn't do it because it was easy. She did it because she refused to believe she couldn't. So, if you're a mom watching this and you have a dream you've been putting off, if you've been thinking, maybe when the kids are older, maybe when things calm down, maybe when I have more time, maybe it's time to stop waiting. Because here's the secret no one tells you. The perfect moment doesn't exist, but you are more ready than you think. You already have the skills, you already have the resilience, you already have the focus. You just need to give yourself permission to use them. And if you're a PhD mom specifically, I want you to know you are not behind, you are not failing. You are doing something extraordinary. And the fact that it feels hard doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're doing it. In my first video, I told you that being a PhD mom is hard, and it is. But today I wanted to show you the other side, the side nobody talks about, the side where being a mom isn't holding you back. It's making you unstoppable. In the comments, tell me, what's a moment where someone acknowledged what you're doing and it kept you going? Or if you're not a mom yet, tag a woman in your life who is doing something incredible while raising kids. Let's make this comment section a place where we actually see each other. And if this video made you feel even a little bit more confident, share it. Tag a mom who needs to hear this today. Because we spend so much time telling each other how hard it is, let's spend more time reminding each other how capable we are. Subscribe for more. Next video, I'm going into the actual systems and strategies that make all of this work in practice. The practical stuff, the real stuff. Until then, remember, you're not just surviving this, you're building something incredible, one messy, beautiful day at a time. Welcome back to Scholar Mom Systems. I'll see you in the next video.